got to celebrate it. You gotta make sure that you treasure it. School and life, forget the nonsense. It's irrelevant. Be what you put your mind to. You could be the president. Greatness you achieve for your people, you gotta represent.
It goes up, up, and away, yeah. Today's the best day ever, you're off and on your way. Up, up, and away, yeah. We parlay in the morning, we party throughout the day. Up, up, and away, yeah. Up, up, underlay, yeah. Up, up, and away, yeah. School ain't like the only way.
I'm your host, Casey Williams, and welcome to another episode of Schooling Life. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the phenomenality of the black male teacher. I have two phenomenal educators with me, and if you don't mind stating your name and giving a little bit of background about you.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Junior Lecce. I'm currently a teacher at in DeKalb County, sixth grade science teacher, and this is my second full year in the classroom.
I'm Derek Carter, GED instructor with Paxton Eckerd Connect. I, used to work at Valdosta State University as an academic advisor and student educator.
All right. So I met you guys because you are phenomenal educators. What inspires you? What inspires you to be an educator?
So I actually fell into education. I actually my goal was to work with young males, young black males. And so with that being said, I think I just kind of fell into it. But that actually inspired me even more because I saw now I have a whole bunch of young black men who need assistance, who need motivation, who need encouragement, as well as the young ladies as well. And not just within the school, but just, in life and whatnot. So it just, that kind of inspired me to, be a great teacher and be there and kind of be there for our people, for our youth.
I definitely would concur with them. For me, it was the need for mentorship because something that I really value is that mentorship, is the success for education. And a lot of the young black males don't have mentors. So I, use that as a way to just kind of open the door and educate them, like I said, through life and just, throughout education.
So when did you have your first African-American male teacher?
For me, I believe it was fifth grade. And it was almost like, something, brand new. It's almost like seeing, I don't know, just kind of, made me be like, wow, there's a black teacher, because for many years, all I saw was, white male teachers, and of course, white female teachers. But it was more so like, oh, like a superhero almost in a sense, like, oh, I can actually be a teacher. And it made an immediate impact in my life.
So mine was 8th grade PE coach, but outside of that, grad school. That was the first time I ever had a black male teacher.
How did that experience redefine you, or what was that experience like?
I think having one so late, because I feel like by the time you get to grad school, you're kind of separated from you're just doing it to get it done, so you're no longer as connected. But even then, me and him, we definitely had a good connection because sometimes the students would complain about something I was doing and I'll go talk to him and he definitely would look out, help me, maybe if I was gonna be late for a test or anything. So he definitely was a great experience throughout because I had him multiple times throughout grad school. So he was a blessing throughout because how grad school is. But yeah, he was a blessing for sure.
I had my first male educator in college. And it was really changing for me because it was the first time that I seen someone who looked like me, who really affirmed my intellect. It was Professor Carter at Valdosta State. And he really shifted me. Being in the AFAM courses it really gave me an affinity. It gave me a lot of esteem. It just changed the way that I carried myself. And it gave me a different knowingness that I had not, in a way that I hadn't been affirmed before. And I didn't even know that I had been missing it. But when I got that experience, it was revolutionary. It was definitely changing for me in that regards. So how do you guys believe that men of all backgrounds impact the educational arena?
I mean, I personally feel just having that male figure in the education sector, it establishes dominance in a sense, and not so much as, saying, okay, the male dominates the female, but it's just something about having that male in education, showing leadership, showing the ability of having strength, just strong, just powerful, just carrying that, I would say, that title of being king in a sense. And so having young boys being able to see that and knowing like, hey, I have something to look forward to versus just being an athlete, versus just, doing something else other than being an educator.
Yeah, I definitely could piggyback off of that, especially in a profession that's more, women dominated. I think young boys growing up, that is someone that they can relate to because teachers deal with students more than parents deal with their own kids. Mm-hmm. And so as a young boy growing up, if you're around the women all day, they may not understand some things that you're going through. They may not understand your psyche or your mental. And I think having that male teacher to talk to and look forward to and to bring that certain male dominance, but still provide empathy and whatnot, I think that's essential and necessary for young males of all races and all backgrounds.
I think you guys are talking about that firmness, that presence, that keen ability to be both firm, direct, and fair. Right. And I can shift the pendulum with my approach and still be gentle and yield great results.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is one of your superpowers as being a black male teacher? Like what is, actually give me two, cause three. Give me three superpowers. Let's go.
Honestly, for me, and I can really just sum it up, just mentorship. For me, that is really, really key. Just because, I like to know, okay, what makes them want to just, whether it be a doctor to the other end of the spectrum, just saying, okay, I don't want to go to college. I just, I'm just good with my hands, so to speak. So for me, it's just the mentorship, being able to adapt to them with different situations that they may have gone through. And I can just look at it from my experience of working at Valdosta State University and the numerous of mentees that I've had. I've probably come across well over 1,500 in my 10-year career there, just really just trying to mentor and get them to that next level and really having somebody to believe in them.
Oh, that's really good.
So I think one of my superpowers, cultural competence, and I say that in regards to, especially dealing with my kids, sometimes I may have to do a different calling for them to understand. So I'm using cultural references from their current music, or sometimes they may be getting out of hand, I may have to roast them real quick, but then so now, but we're connecting, but at the same time still keeping that, that power dynamic. I think another one is, like you said, mentorship, because I think of what we may have gone through growing up, we're able to be what we wanted for us, and I think the last one is just love. I think growing up with having mostly white teachers and mostly women teachers, I was very secluded. I just stayed in the back, I did my work, kept it pushing. But when I had my first black professor, it's different. Now I could talk to you, now I could express some of my things. Now we could, you could kind of align me with my goals better and speak to me in a way that I will understand, So I think those are our superpowers.
I definitely would say one of my superpowers is to affirm them in a way that they probably have never been affirmed. I realize, like, when students are in my space, particularly males, they are transformed. Like, being in my space and allowing for me to get my hands on the students is like transformative. Another superpower I have is the relatability. Having similar interests makes a world of difference. Understanding the variances, and not just Black culture, but coaches from around the
Right,
world
right.
gives me great insight to build those strong relationships with all of my students, regardless of their backgrounds. And then lastly, my intellect. Being smart and owning that and still getting to be everything that I am, I think it really gives my kids a different perspective.
Right.
So we make up the 2%. What would you say to those who are desiring to be educators? Why do you think we need more men, and particularly Black men, in this space of education? In closing.
That's a really good question. I think to just sum it up, because I don't want to dive into a deep tangent, I think to sum it up is because we need it. We need us to help us become better men, to be better men within society, better men within education, just to help, mold and grow us, because a lot of us lack that male figure growing up. And I'm not saying, single mothers, but like we just lack that. Yeah. And I've craved that my whole life. And so that's why I kind of, I try to give back. That's why I'm so focused on the young men, especially the Black men.
I definitely would have to agree with them, just because of the lack of male figures in the home. Then it's sort of like, hey, if I can, be that male figure for them, and not only just a male figure, but an active male figure, because so many times they have male figures, but they're not active, and which, makes a huge difference in their lives. So really showing them that, hey, if I'm active with you, then hey, you can do the same. It's kind of like, like I said, sowing that seed for future growth.
Yeah, so as educators, it is really important that we be those fillers in the gaps. And as an educator, we get to see the community. We get to see the successes, we get to see the areas of growth that we can focus on, and understanding how we can utilize our tools and cultivate that space is unique due to our position. Right. And so that is why we need more people to heal, to love, to transform our community. So in building a more equitable, mindful, and sustainable world, remember that you have the power and tools to ignite your life. So always, always, always remember that you are in control of yourself and you are in control of your destiny. So always school your life. Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah.
Today's the best day ever, you're off and on your way. Up and away, yeah. We parlay in the morning, we party throughout the day. Up and away, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Up on delay, yeah. Up and away, yeah.
Yes, sir.
School is like the only way.
School is important in life, you gotta be educated. Go through life with no regrets, cause you regret if you hesitate. And strive to be the best, the obstacles gon' leave you aggravated. But once you succeed, you gon' feel great, you have to celebrate it. You gotta make sure that you treasure it. School and life, forget the nonsense, it's irrelevant. Be what you put your mind to, you could be the president. Greatness you achieve for your people, you gotta represent.
It goes up and away, yeah. Today's the best day ever, you're off and on your way. Up and away, yeah. We parlay in the morning, we party throughout the day. Up and away, yeah. Up on delay, yeah. Up and away, yeah. School ain't like the only way. Each day when you wake up, either you're taking intentional steps to being your best self, or you're moving further away from your truth and your goals. There is a difference between being self-focused and self-centered. Value yourself. Love yourself. Hype yourself up because you're dope. It is perfectly okay to be your biggest fan with purpose. Yo, you got this.